animated Anarchy series presents the animated Showdown.
All right, what's up, everybody? It is Wednesday afternoon. We are on your lunch break, so we might make you puke. Of course, this is Animated Showdown episode number 26. Stage 2 of the Animated Anarchy series is almost over with. We're going to move on to stage 3 very soon. This is part of the Animated Anarchy series. I, of course, am your host, Dutchie, joined as always by Money E.
What's up?
He took the hood off. just so he wanted to do the AJ Styles flip of the hood, but he's just like, I don't want to give myself whiplash, so I'm not going to do that. But of course, also Wildcard.
Just trying to do.
Yeah. Also, Wildcard Dave is here.
Whoop whoop.
And of course, Sean is here.
Hello.
All right. So this is episode 26 of Animated Showdown. Our battles today are the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy versus the Legend of Tarzan. Neo Angelique takes on Death Note. By the way, if Neo Angelique gets swept, then they will move into the bottom tier of shows. We got CHALKZONE taking on Amazing World of Gumball. If Amazing World of Gumball sweeps, then they move into the upper echelon of shows. We have Magi Kingdom of Magic taking on Devil May Cry, which actually this battle is actually very important to the leaderboard standings, which will be updated next week after episode 27 of our shows. And Devil May Cry may very well get Liam Jolly up to the top of the leaderboard. I'll get more into that later. And, of course, the main event is going to be Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog taking on TAZ-MANIA. If Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog gets swept, they move into the bottom tier. So, a couple of big ones coming up here. Of course, we're going to run the randomizer. It's going to pick our 5 categories for us. These guys are going to judge. If a show wins 3-0, it's 30 points. 3-1 is 20 points, 3-2 is 10, and 5 for the loser. If you are swept, you lose 10 points. So we'll go ahead. We'll share the screen here. All right, can everybody see the screen?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, here we go. One click. And we have... All right, I'm kind of liking this. I don't know how you guys are feeling.
What's the second one?
So we got memorable moments. We got cultural impact. We have humor. Theme song.
Like that.
And enjoyment.
Yep. I like it.
All right, Dave, how do we feel?
I wish animation was in here.
Always got to be a Debbie Downer.
It's my favorite.
I love it.
All right, Sean, how do you feel?
Not bad.
Huh?
It's not bad. I like my favorite one.
Well, yeah.
I like it.
I was gonna say, Sean, you got to be happy because the your least favorite M word isn't in here.
And mine's not in there too.
Yeah. So it's nobody's least favorite category is in it, but Dave's favorite category is not in it either. So it's kind of bittersweet. So, but the funny thing is that I like theme song and enjoyment, so I kind of wish they were higher up, but I can't stop, Danielle. I'm the host of the show. Anyway, the thing is, Sean, if she could hear me, she'd probably be in here yelling right now.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I can't help it that she's giving me material. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's get started with the first battle, which is the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy taking on the Legend of Tarzan. Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy 1-0, 20 points in the division of Nick Visco. Legend of Tarzan 1-0, 20 points in the division of Kevin Johnson, who is my sister's fiance. Now, the funny thing about this is if Billy and Mandy sweeps Tarzan tonight, and then next week, if My Hero Academia sweeps Neon Genesis Evangelion, then there's a possibility that when Eric does the calculations for the leaderboard, that Nick Visco will be up at the top of that leaderboard. It's a possibility. Well, first of all, he's got to get past this, and then the stuff with Devil May Cry later on.
Yep.
That has to go a certain way. So we're not going to get too ahead of ourselves, but I do have to kind of promote that stuff, mainly because Nick Visco is one of my bosses, and I promised him that I would bring that up on the show. So. All right. We start with memorable moments. We're not starting with Sean. Instead, Eric, who had the more memorable moments on the show?
I gave it to Tarzan. Oh no, Billy and Mandy.
Billy and Mandy, yeah.
Yep. I thought there was just a tad more story there, and therefore more memorable moments.
All right, Dave.
This one was kind of tough for me. But I kind of like Tarzan here a little more. I like the action that they have in there. It's a little more memorable to me than, the humor and the little quirky little things that they go through on Billy and Mandy. So therefore I went with The Legend of Tarzan. I just thought, the intense jungle scenes, him fighting with gorillas and stuff like that were pretty memorable.
Okay. All right. Sean, I hate to do this to you right away, especially if you're in the middle of cleaning up a crime scene, but you have to break a tie here.
I went with Billy and Mandy. I think the adventures they go on are more memorable than what you see in Tarzan.
Okay. All right. Billy and Mandy is up 1-0. They are 2 away from a sweep. But we move on to cultural impact. Who had the bigger cultural impact, Dave?
I'm going with this one was tough for me. But I'm going with Tarzan. I think it's got a massive legacy. Just the name itself. Billy and Mandy, I feel like, is more of a niche group. Like there's maybe some people that would still go and watch it, but not a lot. Tarzan, I feel like it's more of a classic, and people will go back and watch that more often.
Okay. All right, Sean, you get to go next.
I agree. I have Tarzan winning this one just for legacy alone.
Okay.
Came out at that perfect time.
Yeah. And by the way, this Legend of Tarzan. This is the Disney one for anybody that's keeping score. So it's Cartoon Network versus Disney. Of course, this is the spin-off of the Tarzan animated movie. But Tarzan, of course, has been a legendary character for so many years. This is just Disney's adaptation. By the way, my favorite adaptation of Tarzan.
Not the one that we did last week.
Not the one that we did last week. All right, Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, I went with Tarzan here. Yeah.
All right. So there's going to be no sweep happening here. We move on to humor. Who had more humor, Sean?
I went with Billy and Mandy, hands down. I thought that show was a lot more funnier, or a lot funnier.
Yeah. All right, Dave?
Yeah, I agree with Sean. I thought the way they treated Grimm was kind of funny, the children. definitely in some of the episodes. And there is quite a bit of humor, even if it's absurd type humor or silly type humor. There is definitely a lot of comedic effort into Billy and Mandy.
All right. And Eric.
Yep, I went with Billy and Mandy. I think the show is made to be for fun, to be hilarious.
Yeah. All right. Billy and Mandy is up 2-1. They can win it with the next category, which is theme song. Dave, who had the better theme song?
Oh man, I'm going with Tarzan here. I like it a little better. Pretty sure it was a award-winning soundtrack as well.
Well, yeah, and it was basically a kind of a shorter version of the song sung by Phil Collins in the movie.
Right. Yep.
So, by the way, I think one of the more underrated Disney, songs that they've done for a Disney movie. It doesn't get talked about like
I thought it was a banger, to be honest.
It doesn't get talked about a lot, but I think it should.
Yeah, I thought it acquired that jungle rhythm type feel to it perfectly, and I just thought it fit perfectly. It sounded great. Nothing against Billy and Mandy, but it was just, they put that dark tone in there, but it just wasn't a masterpiece to me compared to how Tarzan was.
Right. Yeah. And by the way, I love Phil Collins anyway. So that song was good. But Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, I went the other way. I just enjoyed Billy and Mandy just had more, but both of them were very good.
Okay. All right. Sean, twice in 12 minutes.
Yeah. I went with Tarzan here. Phil Collins is a master.
Yeah. He really is. And this is how much money Disney had and still obviously has to this day, to where for their animated movies, because you get you have Elton John do The Lion King, which probably one of the best movie soundtracks ever.
Yep.
My opinion.
Can't argue that.
You just had Stevie Wonder do a couple of the songs for Mulan, or one of the songs from Mulan, and now you have Phil Collins do this.
Yep.
So, but yeah, just beautifully done. All right, so first battle, we might as well take it the full 5. We move on to overall enjoyment. Category speaks for itself. Which show did you enjoy more? Sean, I'm not even going to let the possibility happen. You're going first.
I appreciate that. I enjoyed Billy and Mandy a lot more. I think the adventures were more captivating. Tarzan, it's a great show, but it's kind of it's always the same.
Yeah.
Every episode, Billy and Mandy at least is somewhat different. They do different things, but Tarzan's always fighting something in the jungle, but Billy and Mandy treating Grim like crap but going on cool adventures was, I think, a lot more enjoyable to watch at the time.
Which, by the way, 2 snot-nosed kids, and when I say snot-nosed, I am talking literally when it comes to Billy, treating the Grim Reaper like garbage. It's just it's kind of funny, because it's just if anybody else does that, all he has to do is just touch them and then they die.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Dave, go ahead.
I actually went the opposite way here. I love Tarzan in the jungle. I like the setting. It just, I don't know. It just brought me back to the old days. I grew up watching this. I grew up watching both of them, but I just felt like, there's something about someone being in the jungle and wrestling around with the almighty animals that are in the jungle. I just thought it was very captivating, and I enjoy it.
In your opinion, is this Legend of Tarzan, is this a version of Tarzan underrated?
Yeah, I think it's underrated.
Because it doesn't get talked about. By the way, it's not on Disney Plus, or at least not in this country anyway. You have to find the episodes on YouTube. Which I think kind of sucks. It's just like you have one of the biggest libraries in the world. Why can't you put this show on your freaking streaming service?
Right. It's one of the better ones of this franchise, I believe.
Okay. Of the Disney franchise or of Tarzan?
No, of Tarzan franchise.
Because I was going to say, like, because we have a lot of Disney shows, and, there's a few, obviously, Disney shows that were based off movies. So I'm going to pose this real quick because I'm giving Eric a couple extra minutes to think of his answer because he is getting ready to break a tie. But
I already have my answer.
Well, let me build the suspense, will you boob? So you have Little Mermaid came out with an animated series after their movie. You had obviously Aladdin came out with a series after them. You have obviously Timon and Pumbaa, which is part of this. Hercules came out with an animated series. You have The Emperor's New School. Where does Tarzan rank among the Disney animated series that were based off of their movies?
Ooh. That's tough. I would have to line them all up together, but I think they beat Little Mermaid. I like it. I think it's up there.
I mean, obviously, because I think as far as being in this series, it's just them and Timon and Pumbaa, and then obviously, of course, the other Disney shows that are part of the series. But they're the only two that are based off of their animated movies. And as far as which one's better, I am always going to be prone to Timon and Pumbaa because I love The Lion King, but this one is pretty good. Like, and it's doing a pretty good job hanging in there with other shows.
I don't know. If this one up against Timon and Pumbaa, I might go with Tarzan, depending on the categories.
All right, well, I could probably make that happen. As a matter of fact, when we get to the gauntlet stage, which is stage 4, I'm pretty sure that these two that Timon and Pumbaa and Tarzan may be going against each other at some point. But all right, Eric, I've stalled enough. You've already had your answer for the last 3 minutes, so give it to me.
Am I going to agree with Sean, Dave here? No, I'm agreeing with Sean.
You want Billy and Mandy?
Yep. I enjoyed the more funny show more.
Okay. Now, the thing is that Tarzan's still going to get points.
Yeah.
I told you beforehand the first one's going to be a good one, Eric, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
All right.
And went all 5.
Super competitive. Billy and Mandy's going to get the 10 points. Tarzan's still going to get 5. So, all right. So we start off with a very competitive one. We move on now to the first anime battle of the afternoon. Neo, Angelique, 0-1, negative 10 points in the division of Joshua Cogvan. Going up against Death Note, 0-1, but 5 points in the division of Shane. Neo Angelique gets swept. They move into that bottom of the barrel territory. Let's go ahead and get into it. Memorable moments is the first category. Dave, go ahead.
I went with Death Note here. I just thought its suspense and unexpected plot twists were pretty memorable in this show. I just thought the memorable moments they did have stood out a little more as well. Like Neo Angelique, I thought it just like their memorable moments are very widespread. They're not like widespread. It's kind of like there's not a lot. There's like here and there, but there's not a ton of them. I think in Death Note, there's like every episode, there's a little something that's memorable in each of those episodes. So that's why I gave it to them.
All right, fair enough. All right, Sean, go ahead.
I don't know. I like Neo Angelique. I like the characters better and the story, honestly.
All right. Guess what, Eric?
I know.
Sean just went back to back, so now it's your turn.
Yep. This time I'm not agreeing with Sean. I'm agreeing with Dave.
Well, at least you're spreading it out. All right.
Something he's used to.
Oh my God.
All right. Death Note is up 1-0. 2 more and then they sweep. Cultural impact. Who had the bigger cultural impact, Sean?
Oof. This one was hard, but I gave this one to Death Note. I think it just kind of, when it first released, it just kind of took off or gained so much momentum.
All right. Eric.
Yeah, I went with Death Note. From what I read, it just led me to say Death Note. I think they both had some impact, but I think Death Note had more of that impact.
Okay. All right. Dave.
Yeah, I went with Death Note as well. This show in particular spawned multiple live action films in Japan, Netflix adaptation of the show, a musical. It has a popular social game too that people play. This has, I feel, a way bigger impact than Neo Angelique could ever touch.
All right. Death Note's up 2-0. 1 more and then they sweep. Humor is the next category. Who had more humor? Dave, you get to start.
I thought Death Note here, it was a little more dark comedy, but I liked it. It was, over the top psychological battles type deal. It was a lot of absurdity. Him working with, sorry, need to drink some. But
Yeah.
I had like phlegm in my throat.
Keep those vocal cords, all nice and loosened up. I don't need you losing your voice halfway through the show.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, I just thought, Light's moments. I mean, they were here and there, but I thought they were kind of hilarious. Some of like the reactions of his face or something like that. It definitely was kind of memorable in some of those regards. So I gave it to Death Note.
All right. Eric, you raised your hand. Sean is going to hate you. Probably more than what he already does. But go ahead.
Yeah, I went the opposite. I just found, I don't think there was humor in either one, but just maybe it had more in Neo.
All right. Sean, I'm sorry about this. This is out of my control.
No, you're fine. I went with Death Note. I like the style, the humor they were using, even though it was kind of like nonchalant at times.
Yeah, like when there's like an intense monologue and he's just sitting there eating a potato chip.
Yeah, it's like the small stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. So the first battle was very close. This one, not so much.
Nope.
Death Note wins at 3-0. They're going to get 30 points out of it. Neo Angelique, they unfortunately moved down to the bottom of the barrel. They're only the second anime to do so, along with Ninja Kamui. Now we move on to it's Nickelodeon versus Cartoon Network. It is CHALKZONE 0-1 in the division of Danielle Davis, taking on Amazing World of Gumball 1-0. 30 points, I believe, in the division of Derek Elstrom, who had a really good stage one, had a really, was pretty high up on the leaderboard in stage one, but then unfortunately, he has Josie and the Pussycats in his division, so that kind of drags him down a little.
Yeah.
But Amazing World of Gumball has 30 points, and if they sweep here, they're going to move into that upper echelon territory. We start with memorable moments, and Sean, you get to start.
Oh, man. I actually went with Gumball here solely because I found that show more quirky
Yeah.
and like kind of weird. And CHALKZONE was just as weird, but I don't know. Something about Gumball just stood out to me a little more, made me remember it. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm all
Yeah, I know exactly what you're trying to say. Dave, why don't you go next?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with him. I went with The Amazing World of Gumball. I just thought the moments were a little better here. They have some good episodes that have like chaotic energy or emotional depth to them. Also, they have like highly visual scenes in some of their episodes. And they have songs. Their songs I thought were pretty memorable, like "I'm a Bun" song.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny. So I just thought those made it a little bit more memorable than CHALKZONE. I do like CHALKZONE's like imaginative like view of like bringing drawings to life and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool, but once you see it, like you've seen it. Like I want something new, and they didn't really bring that.
Right. All right, Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll sweep it. Gumball.
Okay. All right, they're up 1-0. 2 more, and then they get a sweep. We move on to cultural impact, and Eric, you're going to start this one.
From the research I did, Gumball takes this. I don't think it was even close because I think that's more of a more memorable show.
Okay. Sean.
Sorry, my mic was off. I have Gumball, Hitch Whale.
All right. Not gonna lie, I do get a little worried when you don't answer right away, especially when your wife is screaming 10 seconds before.
We just picture blood on the mic.
And I don't need to be called to testify. All right, Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with these guys. I thought it had a broader appeal, a little more bit of a longevity to it as well. And it's definitely in the meme culture nowadays. So it's like it's still relevant, like the show, because of memes and stuff like that. So I do believe it has a higher impact.
All right. They're up 2-0. One more, and then it is another sweep. Humor is next up, and Dave, why don't you start?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Gumball here. I just thought it had a little more humor in it. It had it was kind of more fast paced. It kind of breaks the fourth wall and pop culture type things here and there. It's enjoyable for both children and adults and teenagers of all kinds. I thought they did a pretty decent job bringing in the humor.
Okay. All right, Sean.
Yes, Gumball. I was laughing more at Gumball than CHALKZONE.
Now, is this one of those where you had your kids watch both shows to see what they like better?
No.
I don't think he wants his kids watching Gumball.
No, that was for what is Sonic and Taz is the main event, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so yeah, that's the one that I had that going for them.
You should bring them in the judge for that one.
They're getting put to bed.
All right, well then never mind.
It got quiet out there.
I'll get their I'll let them they can have their 15 minutes of fame at another time. All right, Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, I went with Gumball. I don't think this is even close. I think CHALKZONE was kind of dull. Putting it nicely. I watched one episode and I was bored.
All right, Amazing World of Gumball is going to win it 3-0. They're going to go ahead. They're going to get the sweep. So they're going to get the 30 points. CHALKZONE is going to lose 10. So, all right, we move on to the next battle, which is Magi Kingdom of Magic versus Devil May Cry. Now, here's the thing. Devil May Cry, two things can get accomplished here. Well, first of all, if Devil May Cry sweeps, then they move into that upper echelon. Now, the way the points are right now, if Devil May Cry, and by the way, Liam Jolly is still undefeated. So he's the only one who's none of his shows have lost yet.
Damn.
Now, if they can beat Magi Kingdom of Magic here, which, by the way, Magi Kingdom of Magic 1-0, 10 points in the division of Sarah Russo. If Devil May Cry gets any points out of this whatsoever with a win, so 10, 20, or 30 points, then they're going to be when Eric, does the scoring next week for the leaderboard. Liam Jolly will be up at the top of that leaderboard by himself, or at least for the time being. It could very well change next week, and I'll get into that.
Can we label him League MVP?
We're gonna have to,
or something like that.
We're gonna have to,
at the top?
And there will be a reward for being at the top of the leaderboard this time. And I'm still kind of trying to think about it in my head, but there will be a reward. And if he loses. Now, if he loses but still gets 5 points, then he's going to share the glory, at least for the time being, with two other people. But right now, whatever points he gets, he will be up at the top of that leaderboard as long as it's winning points. But so he's 1-0, but Devil May Cry is 1-0, 30 points, going up against Magi Kingdom of Magic 1-0, 10 points. So this is kind of a big one. I've been hyping this up at work all week, and getting the people involved who have these shows kind of excited about it. And also people at work are just excited at the fact that the damn sheet I have hanging up in the break room at work is finally going to change. So, all right, we start with memorable moments. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I went with Devil May Cry here. I thought its intense action scenes, its style, just did it for me. I thought it brought a lot of hype moments, and those hype moments kind of stuck in my head a little bit more than Magi the Kingdom of Magic.
All right. Sean.
Yeah, I agree. I went with Devil May Cry. The atmosphere of the show, kind of led for a dark suspense type.
Okay. All right, Eric?
Yeah, I went Devil May Cry. I just found that more captivating. Again, I messed up. I don't know why I said that again. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. All right. They're up 1-0, 2 more, and then they sweep. But we move on to cultural impact. Who had the bigger cultural impact, Sean?
Everything that I found led me to choose Devil May Cry.
Okay. Dave, why don't you go ahead next?
Yeah, I think DMC definitely has the bigger impact here. I think it's got the longevity and the recognition. It's, I think, a little more mainstream as well. So therefore, it has a little more impact than Magi.
All right, Eric.
Yeah, DMC too. Especially because it does have a video game to it. So that, yeah.
All right, they're up 2-0. They can win it in this next category, which is humor. All right, Eric, I just heard a noise come from you, so therefore you're going first.
Yeah, I think both of them don't have any humor to it because they're both kind of dark. But
Yeah.
I think there's just a tad more in Devil May Cry. So I went with that.
You went with You went with Magi.
No, DMC.
All right, you went with Devil May Cry. All right.
Yep.
Dave.
I went the opposite way here. I went Magi. I just thought Aladdin's perverted jokes and some of the um, lighthearted adventure type slapstick comedy they had in there on those adventures were okay. They weren't great, but they had some humor that broke up some serious situations too. So I thought it had a good balance between like comedy and action. Um, Devil May Cry, I just felt like it was a lot of like dry one-liners, if anything, for its humor, but that was about it. So that's why I went with Magi.
Okay. All right, Sean, you're probably breaking the most important tie here.
Yeah. I went with Devil May Cry. I saw, from what I watched of the shows, I've noticed a little more of the humor in Devil May Cry than Kingdom of Magic, but, that's just me.
All right. So basically, two very important things. Well, actually, no, three very important things just happened here. Devil May Cry is in that upper echelon because they just got 30 points. Which, by the way, with them and Gumball reaching that upper echelon, I was at the point in the making my power rankings to where like I was past all the shows that were in that upper echelon. Now I got to go back and redo some of them.
Sorry.
No apologies necessary. It's just I knew it was going to happen, but I started working on the stupid things anyway.
Yep.
So that's my fault for thinking, oh, it's all good. Now, if I was already, because I'm only like ranking like number like 20 or 21 right now. If I was on like number 244 and then had to go back and do all that stuff, then that would be then my fist would probably go through something. But so Devil May Cry is up in the upper echelon. That's the first important thing. The second important thing is Liam Jolly has gone 2 stages and hasn't lost anything yet.
Jeez.
None of his shows have lost.
Wow.
And number 3, when you print out that, well, you're not going to print it out. You're going to send it to me, and I'm going to print it out and post it at work. But when you type up that sheet next week, he's going to be up at the top.
Yep.
By himself, unless I'm missing something, because math is not my strong suit. That's why I handed the responsibility over to you.
Yep.
But so 3 very important and very positive things for Liam Jolly have happened, and pretty much, as Dave just said, he's pretty much right now the series MVP. Because
right now,
if you want to do the odds, he's probably the odds-on favorite. He's probably like.
Odds-on favorite. Remember, like, just because we're ranking them all together as a team, these shows are technically competing for themselves.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right. So he doesn't. He has the best division right now because his shows are doing really good. That doesn't mean that when we get into the playoffs, that doesn't mean his shows are gonna steamroll.
They could get swept easily.
But
not swept, but
But right now, it's also very hard to tell which one of his shows is going to win their division because he has 4 shows that are performing very well. Now, the best show he has right now is his anime. Well, technically, he's got 2 animes because he's got Yu-Gi-Oh! Too. But Devil May Cry is his best show.
Yep.
Points-wise. Record-wise, they're all doing pretty good. So right now, yes, he is the best. He has the best division in the series.
Yeah.
But guess what? We got a lot more to go, so it may not last.
Yep. And it depends on. I think he's gotten. I won't say lucky, but I guess you could say lucky with the categories he got into matchups.
Yeah, the categories, yes. Because remember, Yu-Gi-Oh! In Stage 1 beat Batman.
Batman, yeah.
Okay? and it was mainly category based because
Yeah.
we even talked about it after, where Sean even said on the show, it's just like, look, if there would have been a couple of different categories, Yu-Gi-Oh would not have won.
Yep, exactly. Do you remember what the categories were?
I don't.
Not to put you
I
on the
think
spot.
animation was one of them.
Animation was one of them. I know Sean said that if it would have been voice acting, Batman would have won, but we didn't have voice acting for that.
Yeah.
First one of them? Was that one of the categories that was like controversial? I know
Merch might be might have been one of them.
I know merch was one of the ones that got Batman's ass handed to him by Dragon Ball Z.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah, that was very controversial.
It might not be controversial to some people. I still don't agree with it, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, we're already past that. So
yeah, but it happened. But yeah, no, Yu-Gi-Oh is. But yeah, so Yu-Gi-Oh has had a big victory. But yeah, so right now Liam Jolly is like up at the top of the leader. Well, I mean, it's not necessarily official yet. It's not official until Eric types it up. But all right, so that was pretty big. So, and that, by the way, that wasn't even the main event. we still have one more to go today.
Yep, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, 1-0, negative 10 points, in the division of Eric's brother Chris, taking on TAZ-MANIA, 0-1, 5 points, in the division of Tim Friel.
Yep.
So
I forgot my brother had Adventures of Sonic.
Memorable moments is up first. Sean, go ahead.
I went with Sonic here. I just think, I don't know, the antics they all get into in the show are just more memorable than what happens in TAZ-MANIA.
And by the way, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog is the one. It's the first Sonic show to come out, and it went on the syndicated 65 episode run. It's not Sonic Sat AM that had like the cool theme song and all that. Had more of a story. This Sonic show isn't necessarily highly regarded, but among Sonic fans, like it's still. I mean, it's Sonic is Sonic. But Dave, I'm going to let you go next.
Yeah, I actually agreed with Sean here. I went with Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I just thought, like, there's some meme-worthy moments in there, I thought, which, like, with their faces, how they were animated or whatnot, their reactions and whatnot. I did like Dr. Robotnik's erratic behavior. I did like that. I thought it was different. And his henchmen, I thought were kind of the stars of the show, in my opinion. I thought when they were on, it was pretty memorable. So that's why I went with Sonic the Hedgehog.
All right. Eric?
Yeah, I went with Sonic too. I just thought there was more moments, more story arc to the show. Taz, I feel like is kind of the same thing.
Yeah. No, I get that. All right. They're not going to get swept, so they are not in danger of going bottom of the barrel. We move on now to cultural impact.
Ooh.
Obviously, Sonic is Sonic. Taz is a Looney Tune.
Yep.
All right. So it could go either way. Dave, for you, which way did it go?
Just because it had so much better quality, I went with TAZ-MANIA. I thought that because of its better quality, it made it more enjoyable to watch. So therefore, I thought more people would enjoy. They would have a bigger impact because it was better quality. Both names have a huge weight to their name. They both have a great impact. You can't deny that. But I think TAZ-MANIA itself as a show compared to Sonic the Hedgehog, the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, I think TAZ-MANIA pulls this out just by a little bit.
Okay. All right. Let me just ask you this: if this were Sonic Sat AM, would it go the same way, or would Sonic Sat AM?
I think Sat AM would take it completely.
But because it's Adventures.
Yes.
Okay. Just pulling it out because I actually agree with that statement. Because I would agree, because even though like I prefer one over the other, like if it were me, like I would go with Taz over Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. But if it were Sonic Sat AM, which is the more popular and more beloved, and more beloved show, then I would lean that way. Sean, go ahead.
Yeah, I also went with TAZ-MANIA here.
All right, Eric.
Yeah, I wasn't biased here. Is Sonic, so I went with Taz because you have the Looney Tunes connection too.
Yeah. All right, man, these categories are a little difficult, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For this one,
I did say this was going to be difficult.
Yeah. All right, humor is up next. Which show was funnier, Eric?
I went with Taz here. I think that was more made for to be funny. Not to say Sonic wasn't funny, because that was funny too. But I think Taz takes it here because TAZ-MANIA is made to be a funny character.
Yeah. All right, Sean.
So I didn't pick this one. I let my child pick it. And he went with Sonic.
All right. Now we're talking Little William, right?
Yeah. Yeah, William.
All right.
The other one's biased. It wouldn't be fair because he laughs at anything.
Yeah. All right, Dave, go ahead and break a tie.
Yeah, I went with TAZ-MANIA here. I just thought its rapid fire style of chaos of its humor was pretty unique. Taz himself is pretty unique. It's similar to Animaniacs, I believe, but I just feel like Taz has a unique humor style to him. He also breaks the fourth wall a lot.
Yeah.
In the show, which I do like. I like that. I think it's funny when they do that.
That's one of the things that it's like most memorable for, is the fact that like you've had a character who for the last 30 years has been
yeah.
Nope. That's why I went with that.
My beard just shifted like 5 different directions. But like for 30 years he's done that. And then you finally have a show where he starts talking in complete sentences.
Yeah, which was very unique, and I did enjoy that. And it was kind of rapid fire too, so it was constantly like, you got something funny you're watching, and that's how you stayed in tune with that. I thought Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, the only thing that was funny about it was Dr. Robotnik and his henchmen. That's where the humor came from for me. The rest of it was kind of just like moments with like some catchphrases, but they weren't that funny.
Right. Again, if it were Sonic Sat AM, it would probably be a different story.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Most likely, maybe not for humor, but I don't know. I'd have to watch them together.
Right.
Really.
Yeah.
Who knows? That could end up being a battle, but I'm not even sure yet. Because I
hope so.
I kind of forget half the stuff that I do. All right. TAZ-MANIA is up 2-1. They can win it in this next category, which is theme song.
Ooh. Oh, boy.
Now, again, this is Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, if it were Sonic Sat AM, the competition would be really, in my opinion, the competition would be really close.
Yeah.
But because it's Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and you don't have words, I don't think it's that close, but it's not me. It's you guys. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going with TAZ-MANIA here. I thought it was more catchy. It was and it was humorous. I thought the song was humorous, and I enjoyed it. It brought a little of the Taz personality into the song. I thought perfectly.
Yeah.
So I gave it to TAZ-MANIA.
All right, Eric, why don't you go ahead?
I went with Taz too. It was close for me, but I slightly went with Taz.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, I agree with these guys. So sweep it.
All right. Again, if it were Sonic's
AM.
at AM,
Yeah.
maybe a different story.
Yeah.
Because that theme song was very well done. But because it's adventures, TAZ-MANIA does. Because I personally like the TAZ-MANIA theme song. So, all right. But they're going to win at 3-1. Tim Friel's going to get the 20 points. Or TAZ-MANIA is going to get the 20 points for Tim Friel. Adventures at Sonic the Hedgehog isn't losing any. But they're still going to remain at -10.
Yep.
But again, category based, and because it was this particular Sonic show, again, if it were Sonic Sat AM, results probably would have been different, right?
Yeah. If it was Sat AM, I think it would be a little different of a battle, but I can't say for certain which one it would pull out.
What do you guys have given Sonic or Taz for merchandise?
Me for the individual show?
Yeah.
For the
Taz?
individual show, I went with Sonic.
Yeah, I had a hard time with it, but I went
For
with Sonic
merch,
too.
from what I was looking at. But also, like, some of the stuff I was seeing for Taz, some of that was a little more expensive that I was seeing. Some of the, like, products that weren't, like, taken out of their boxes or whatnot. So, so like, some of that I seen going for a decent price compared
He's
to
a very unique character.
Yeah.
So, like, even that category itself is kind of difficult to choose. I have that kind of toss up, but I would have probably gave it to Sonic.
Because if you think about it, all right, and this is kind of something to think about. When you think Looney Tunes altogether, the first character that comes to mind, because he is the spokesman, is Bugs Bunny.
Yep.
Fair to say, correct?
Yes.
Now, if you think about it, because he's usually at him, Porky Pig, Daffy Duck, they're kind of always at the forefront. None of those guys really got. Now, Daffy Duck ended up with a cartoon later on called Duck Dodgers. But Taz got a cartoon. All right. You don't see, the Porky Pig show or you had like the Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, which was big, too. But you don't see the Porky Pig show or the Foghorn Leghorn show or, stuff like that. If
there's ever a Porky Pig, we can say Doug started that.
Yeah, I better
get But when I was looking, I did see more like available merch for Sonic.
Right.
Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yep.
Right, because they really made sure to market that, because that was Sonic's first foray into mainstream media after the video game.
Yeah, so they have more variety and whatnot.
Yeah.
For sure.
So yeah, they probably would edge it out. But what I'm saying is that, like, as far as like popularity go, like, obviously the people at Warner Brothers saw some marketability in Taz because they gave him his own show.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like when you're being led by being led by Bugs Bunny for up at that point, it's 60 years or 50 years or 50 or 60 years. And it's just like, all right, well, we have to branch out these other characters. And you choose him. And by the way, it went on a 4-year run. So, which is not very shabby. So, there's a lot of, so both shows were close. Again, if it were Sonic Sat AM, it would probably be a different story. But all right, so they get the win 3-1. All right, so this upcoming Saturday on Animated Hour of Power, the last Animated Hour of Power in stage for stage 2, as stage 2 is about to come to a close. For Animated Hour of Power next week, we are going to see the New Gate take on Bastard Heavy Metal Dark Fantasy. Sekirei takes on Attack on Titan. By the way, if Attack on Titan sweeps, they're in the upper echelon. Fire Force takes on Dan to Dan. By the way, if Dan to Dan sweeps, they're in the upper echelon. And then the main event's going to be Pinky and the Brain taking on the Dino Saucers. Next week here on Animated Showdown, next Wednesday, the conclusion of Stage 2 will have these matches. Hellsing Ultimate taking on Ace of the Diamond. Magi Adventures of Sinbad taking on Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Black Lagoon takes on Inuyasha. Mr. Bean, the animated series, takes on American Dad. If American Dad gets swept, then they're in the bottom tier. And My Hero Academia takes on Neon Genesis Evangelion in the main event.
Okay.
So that is next week. Like I said on Saturday's show, when stage 3 gets into it, or when we get into stage 3, we're going to have a normal week. And then on February the 28th, it's going to be our judges' choice shows. One's going to be live. The other one's going to be pre-recorded. The live one is going to be hosted by Eric because those were all the battles that he picked. The pre-recorded one is going to be hosted by Dave because those are the ones he picked. I'm not putting Sean and I at the forefront right away because I host enough shows and, you know, Sean needs to do his preparations.
Yep.
And I'm not just talking preparation H either. So, all right. Make sure to like and subscribe to the When Tunes Combine YouTube channel. Join the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/When Tunes Combine. Also, like and subscribe to Eric's Unscripted Sports Show.
Yep.
Like and subscribe to the Wrestling Through the Years YouTube channel. This Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we are going to be talking New Year's Revolution 2006. You can find Dave on Twitch at TCAXGodsent95. You can find Sean on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, and Kick on TCAX Reaper. Also, like and subscribe to the Dizzle97 YouTube channel and Twitch. Also, the Stabcast with Dangle and Mindy. And we'll see everybody on Saturday.
Peace.
See ya.